ส Is my microphone okay? Okay, good. Let me see. Oh no. Oh no. How do I? Wait. Something is wrong again. I cannot. I should. Oh, what the heck is wrong with me? Wait. Okay. Something is wrong, so. Okay, I'm good. I really hope the sound will be okay. Am I good with sound? Okay, okay, you can hear me. That's good. Okay. The game is good. I cannot find. Okay. I will. Okay, audio input. Let's see. Let's see if I can do this again. Okay, I can do it. I can do it. No. Okay. Wow. Okay. I got the sound going. Is it too loud? I hope it's not too loud. Okay, good morning. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I overslept. I guess my body is getting a hold of me. I don't even remember I heard my alarm, but yeah. It's that time that I have to. Oh no. Select adventure. Yep, I am going to do the Great Ace Attorney Resolve today. So yeah, please bear with me. This is totally new to me. I think I have finished the first one before, the adventure, but now that I'm starting Resolve, this one is new. Lower the game sound a bit. Okay. Okay. Is it good? The game sound is good, right? Okay. I'm going to start the Great Ace Attorney Resolve. It's a new game for me. Oh my god. I'm so happy. Guys. Oh my god, Susato-san! Wait, her dad?
Standing here in the bright sunshine, looking out over the vast ocean. Those days in London seem like a dream. But I do miss my time in England's vast capital. You know, he's flourished into a truly wonderful lawyer. I've no doubt that at this very moment he's fighting some noble cause in court. Forgive me for taking so long to come to visit you. My life has been such a whirlwind since I returned. And no one could have predicted what has happened. Just 2 months after arriving home.
Another awful crime? That girl again!
So I came here today to ask something of you. Tomorrow, I shall be standing in court.
What?
For the only time in my life. As a lawyer.
That swan girl. She's...
So
oh
please,
no, she's dead.
I ask for your guidance. Kazuma-sama.
Oh, okay, I thought it was her dad. Episode 1, The Adventure of the Blossoming Attorney. Oh my god. Okay. I change everyone's costume. That's why she is in that costume. Yeah, usually she would be in her kimono, but now that I change it, and I didn't change it back, so... 13th August, 8:26 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendants Antechamber 3. Here I am again after 9 months. The Supreme Court of Judicature of Japan. I feel so nervous, but I must feel my nerves and find a way to compose myself. Oh, that's good! Ah, good you're here. It doesn't do for a lawyer to be late. Oh, yes, good morning, sir. I hardly recognize you. You cut a fine figure, counsel. But you look as white as a sheet, and those white eyes aren't doing you any favors either. Oh dear. The truth is, I was so incredibly nervous I feel utterly nauseated. I almost wish that I'd never been born. Goodness, not the sort of thing a father hopes to hear from his daughter, I must say. Eugene Mikotoba, a professor of medicine at Imperial Humane University. A man who earlier in his life traveled to Great Britain to study the latest advances in forensic medical science. And of course, my brilliant father. Excuse me. Would I be correct in thinking you are to be my lawyer in court today? Yes, that's right, miss. Well, I want to thank you for agreeing to represent me. I swear on my life. It's a complete fabrication, this whole thing. Ray Membami, born the same year as I and my greatest friend. Though unusual for a woman in our time, she works at the university research laboratory helping my father. And sadly, she's the defendant in today's trial, accused of committing a truly awful murder. Are you feeling alright? Since we started talking, you seem, well, to have become a little flushed. Oh my, it's just that you look so gallant and dashing. Sorry? And when I fall under your intense gaze, it makes you feel rather bashful. Goodness, I don't think she knows. She hasn't realized who I am. Wahahaha! It would seem a little plan for this trial is going to work. Oh, what do you mean, Professor Mikotoba? If even your best friend can't see through the disguise, I think we can relax. Disguise? Yes, I've never tried dressing this way before, of course, so I wasn't sure how convincing it would be. But this has made me feel a little relieved that you say, Father. Father? What? Is that you, Susato? I'm so sorry I didn't say anything sooner, Ray. It's just that... No! What are you doing? What's going on? What? Hello! Hello, everyone. Welcome. That varsity uniform, that varsity cap, that varsity cape, that varsity badge. Look at you. You look for all the world just like a student of the Imperial Yume University. A male student. I'm so glad you think so. It means all my preparations have been worthwhile. I woke at 4 this morning to make a start. But I don't understand. Why you dressed like that? Wait, she dressed like Kazuma-sama? Well, you see. It was the only way. The only way she would be permitted into the Supreme Court to take on your defense in this trial. My defense? Oh, it has to be a male lawyer? Never before in my life have I felt so frustrated at having been born into this body. Courts in Japan are barred to women. We're not even allowed to set foot inside the courtroom, despite the fact that laws of the land apply to all people, male and female, alike. Yeah, it was like long time ago, but women are forbidden. Just for today, I'll be leaving my true self at the courtroom door, so that I can act as your lawyer. Oh, Susato, you go to such lengths for me? Of course, you're my greatest friend. Just worry that I shan't be the lawyer you deserve. Oh no, I have complete faith in you, Ray. It's so strange though. I mean, you're such an accomplished judicial assistant already. And yet just because you're a woman, what a wretched reason. I mean, why shouldn't you be allowed in court? You're so gallant and dashing. Ray, please don't look at me like that with those flushed cheeks and doting eyes. Oh, I'm sorry. It's just you really do look so dashing. Yes, you mentioned that once or twice. You should be pleased. It means you look convincing as a man. I am pleased, I think. It certainly helped to bolster my confidence today. Ray, you're managing to put a brave face in all this, but I can see through it. I've noticed how your shoulders are slumped and how you are trembling ever so slightly. Susato, you do believe me, don't you? I didn't do it. I couldn't have. I mean, murder? Of course. You have nothing to worry about. Your conscience is perfectly clean. Isn't that right? Yes. Yes, it is. Perfectly clean. I have absolutely no doubt in mind about your innocence, which is why I will stand by you until bitter end in this trial. Whatever happens, I will always be on your side. Because that's what it means to be a defense lawyer. That means so much to me, Susato. Defendant, counsel! Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. You should go in at once, Ray. If you're late, the judge won't hesitate to pronounce you guilty. Oh. Stand aside! I don't think I've ever seen her run so fast. Well, Susato, you've certainly surprised your father. Going to such lengths to be admitted to the courtroom and with no prior experience of being a lawyer. There was simply no other way. That's all there is to it. But father... Oh! Sai, thank you so much for coming. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Good morning to you. I hope you really have a good day. Thank you for coming. Mwah. How are you today? I hope you're doing great. I hope you had a good sleep. Unlike me, well, I had such good sleep, but I overslept. So yeah, thank you so much, Sai. I love you. Mwah. Thank you, thank you. I remember that her father is sick. Yeah, I think it's in, I think he is good now, probably. Yeah, it should be good now because, it's been a while since Susato, arrived here in Japan. But father, you haven't told her, have you? I mean, I'm right in assuming that Ray doesn't know how it came to this. What? Oh my god, it's been a while. Okay. Wait. It's been a while. Thank you, Vicom, for redeeming. What should I sing? What should I sing? Okay. I will sing a song without any instrumental, okay? So, what? Smooth Criminal? Right now? Smooth Criminal? Smooth Criminal. Okay. Okay. It will be instrumental less though. Because I haven't prepared. I'm never prepared to sing. Okay. Smooth Criminal. Okay. You make a music in your head, okay? You make instrumental in your head. What is this? How do I sing it? Dung 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 dung. Wow! Dung 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 dung. As he came to the window, it was the sound of a crescendo. Dung dung. He came to the apartment, left the bloodstains on the carpet. Dung dung. She ran underneath the table. He could see her on the navel. Dung dung. So she ran to the bedroom. She was struck down. It was her doom. Annie, are you okay? So Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you okay? So Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you okay? So Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you okay? So Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you okay? So it tells us that you're okay. There's a sign in the window that it struck you, a crescendo, Annie. He came into your apartment, left the bloodstains on the carpet. Then you ran into the bedroom, it was struck down, it was your doom. Annie, are you okay? So Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you okay? So Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you okay? So Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? You've been hit by a smooth criminal. Ding 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 ding. Wow! Ding 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 ding. So they came into the subway. It was Sunday. What a black day. Mouth-to-mouth recitation, stunning heartbeats, intimidations. Oh, Annie, are you okay? So Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you okay? So Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you okay? So Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you okay? So Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you okay? Will you tell us that you're okay? There's a sign in the window that it struck you, a crescendo, Annie. He went into your apartment, left the bloodstains on the carpet. Then you ran to the bedroom, where it was stuck down, it was your doom. Annie, are you okay? So Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you okay? So Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? You've been struck by a smooth criminal. I don't know. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for redeeming. Thank you for suggesting the song as well. Because I don't really know what to sing so early in the morning. Okay, thank you. I'm truly awake. Yeah, because I overslept, that's why. Okay. How it came to this? Yes, quite right. I've kept the information from her. It would only worry her if she found out that no other lawyer would agree to take her case. I didn't want to burden her with that. And is it true? The reason why every other lawyer is refusing to take the case, is it really because of who the victim was? We should be making a move now too. As you know, law is in my field, but I'll do what I can to support my student. Thank you, Father. Okay. Let's see. I am Susato Mikotoba, a judicial assistant. 8 months ago, I accompanied a student of law on a study trip to Great Britain. But 2 months ago, due to unforeseen circumstances, I found myself back in Japan. Oh my god, he's so cute. How many times have I wished that he were here, I wonder? Still, I have no choice now but to steel myself for the trial ahead. Wish me luck, Naruhodo-san. August 9 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 1. This court is now in session to hear the trial of Ray Membami. Why does he have the hair in the front? Oh my god. Okay. The prosecution is fully ready to proceed, Your Excellency. Ooh. Wait. Is she? Can I change it? No, not auto. Yes, Your Excellency. We're ready. Ready! Yes, Counsel. According to your registration details, your name is, Ryutaro Naruhodo. Is that correct? Sorry? Oh yes, I had to come up with a suitable male name for you for this little venture. So I'm afraid to say, I simply put down a surname, the first name that sprung to mind. Well, Counsel? Yes, that's right, that's me. Yes, I'm Ryutaro. He who was vowed to uphold the pride of the great Naruhodo clan. It seems Ryutaro may need to consider how better to uphold his manly act first and not overdo it. And those wild, wide eyes aren't doing any favors either. Just relax and listen. Naruhodo? A fresh face in this courtroom, if I'm not mistaken. But the name Naruhodo, would that perchance be? You may be thinking of Runosuke Naruhodo, currently in Britain as part of a study program. This is, his cousin! That's right. Ryutaro here has been studying in the provinces, but he was called to the hospital for this trial. I assure you, in matters of law, his knowledge rivals that of any Tokyo's preeminent lawyers. Any of them! What a pitiful situation. Having been rejected by every lawyer in the capital, the accused has had to call in a country boy. How dare you! Susato is every bit as gallant and dashing as any of you Tokyo attorneys. I won't have you making fun of her. Her? Oh, Please be careful, Ray. Think it doesn't change his part, you can change it later? Okay, sure. What an unrefined tomboy we have here. But I wonder, is your gallant and dashing lawyer up to the challenge of defending you? His wide, skittish eyes very much suggest that he is not. I'm so nervous. Now that I'm standing in his shoes, I'm starting to understand what Naruhodo-san goes through. Like it or not, eyes are wont to flit. Oh no. The case to be heard on this day is a matter of great significance to our national interests. In fact, it would be reasonable to assume that the outcome of this trial may well affect the very future of our empire. Just like the trial 9 months ago. And yet for proceedings of such importance, we have this unknown Yoko by the dock, dear me. Perhaps it would be an appropriate moment for me to assess the defense, to determine whether you are sufficiently competent to practice in this courtroom. 9 months ago, when a certain Naruhodo stood where you are standing now, the same judge tested him as well. And even though he was just a student at the time, not even of law, he passed the test with flying colors. For a trained and experienced judicial assistant like you, this would be easy. So, counsel, do you consent to answering some simple question? Alright, it's time to prove myself. Yes, Your Excellency, but please do make them simple. Very well, to start with, you state the name of the victim. Phew, that is simple. I couldn't forget that if I tried. What's the matter? Now that I'm standing in his shoes, I'm starting to understand something else Naruhodo-san goes through. Like it or not, mine's a won't to blank! It's not surprising, really. It's your first time here in Precision, and in that guise, when a bright spark like you, even a bright spark like you is bound to flicker and falter a little under circumstances. Oh dear, this is a dismal failure. Don't fret. You need only use your knowledge you have gained as a judicial assistant to overcome the problem. Of course, the court record. Yes, the answer will be amongst all the key information about the case in the court record. That's right. Just use R1 to open the court record. When you need to flip the people section with R1, then don't take too long over it. His Excellency is watching you closely. Alright, check the court record with R1. That's where the information I need will be. I'm waiting, counsel. What is the name of the victim in this case? Giselle Brett.
Yes!
The name of the victim who lost her life in this case is Miss Giselle Brett. Giselle Brett. A name that will never be forgotten in the courtrooms of our country, I'm sure. You can save and change outfit first because Susato's student suits is only in this episode. Oh, really? Hello, welcome! Oh, I can, okay, let's see. Okay, I will save in a different game data, and I will go back to title. Okay, I'll be back because I really want to change. Okay, I'll change it back first. And then correct. And be a member of our empire's judiciary, you'll be well aware of the significance of that name. Oh wow! So cool! Ryutaro! So let me pose another simple question. As you know, Miss Brett was a visiting student from the Empire of Great Britain. Why then is her name indelibly associated with our own empire's judicial history? Obviously, you won't have forgotten that case from 9 months ago. But if it's proving hard to recall the finer points, everything you need is included in the court record. Oh my god, he's so handsome! Obviously, you still remember. It was the start of everything. Giselle Brett. Behind the woman student persona was the face of killer.
Yes!
9 months ago, a visiting professor of medicine at the Imperial Yumei University was killed. And the culprit was Giselle Brett. Yes, she was a killer. At the time, our country had just signed a new treaty with the Empire of Great Britain, and it was in the midst of this delicate diplomatic situation that the incident occurred. An Englishman, Dr. John H. Wilson, was shot dead. I believe he was an associate of yours, Professor Mikotoba. Yes, I was indebted to the man. He had been my mentor when I went to London to study forensic medicine. Indeed, it was I who invited him here to Japan as a visiting professor at the university. Naturally, the murder of an Englishman on our soil was a matter the government wished to resolve rapidly. Indeed it was, which is why a secret trial was conducted here in the Supreme Court. A student of the Imperial Yumei University was arrested on suspicion of murder. A second-year English language student by the name of Runosuke Naruhodo. With the help of his best friend, a student lawyer, the accused conducted his own defense. And exposed the despicable crime committed by Miss Giselle Brett. Miss Brett eventually admitted to her crime. However, when questioned about the motive that drove her to take Dr. Wilson's life, she gave no satisfactory answer before the trial reached its conclusion. Immediately after the trial, the British government brought its consular jurisdiction into play. We were unable to sentence Miss Brett according to our empire's laws. It was decided that she would be removed to Shanghai, China instead. Why Shanghai? There is a British consulate court there. Correct. I oversaw the negotiations personally. The date of her transfer to Shanghai was finally settled upon only last week. All that remained of our empire's obligations was to see the woman safely on board a steamship. And yet, the very day before her departure, the English woman was killed. Only the day before? That will do. I'm satisfied with the counsel for the defense is sufficiently capable of representing the defendant. Oh! Thank you, Your Excellency. Over the first hurdle. Now, a summary of the incident, if you please. Prosecutor Aoji. As is your wish, Your Excellency. The repugnant crime took place on the 11th August in broad daylight. Ooh. On the outskirts of the imperial capital, under a bright blue sky as a secluded bathing spot by the sea. The incident occurred inside a small beach hut, erected for bathers to rest and change their clothes. The cause of death was a single stab wound to the posterior abdomen that pierced the victim's lung, an injury which proved fatal. There were two persons alone together in the beach hut at the time of the victim's death. Miss Brett, in her bathing attire, and the accused, Ray Mimbami. Accordingly, there can be no doubt the accused's guilt. Of the accused guilt, especially when we considered she had a powerful motive. The police arrived rapidly at the scene and promptly arrested the young lady. Well, that extraordinary description of events leaves me somewhat lost for words, I must say. That's certainly true. The prosecution's summary was full of words that raised an awful lots of questions. As a lawyer, I really ought to pick up the prosecution counsel on what he said about a powerful motive. You're clearly exaggerating. Powerful motive is a blatant overstatement. Is a Yoko boy using long words he doesn't fully understand? I beg your pardon? No matter, let us put this to the accused, shall we? Membami-san, you are a research assistant at the Imperial Yume University, I believe. Yes, I am. I'm working with Professor Mikotaba in this laboratory at the moment. I can confirm that. The defendant is an excellent assistant with a strong sense of responsibility. Fascinating to hear. Now, another question. Prior to your work with Professor Mikotaba, whose research were you assisting then? Oh, I was studying under Dr. John H. Wilson. Dr. Wilson? The visiting English professor was murdered by Miss Brett 9 months ago? The accused had a deep-seated respect for her former mentor, Dr. Wilson. Is that not true? Yes, Dr. Wilson was a wonderful man. Interesting. Then tell the court that deep-seated feelings you have towards the English woman who killed him. Well, obviously it was filled with hatred for what she had done, a powerful hatred. Oh no, Ray, be careful what you're saying. The motive was revenge. Plain and simple, Your Excellency. Well, it was clearly a trap all along. How wicked of him to use Ray's undying respect for her former mentor against her like that. I must find out more details and someone can use to bolster our defense. As a lawyer, I really ought to pick up the prosecution counsel on what she said about being alone together. Membami-san. Yes, what is it, Susan? Naruhodo-san. I'm really starting to wish we'd made my alliance Ryutaro Susato. Please tell the court why exactly you were present at the bathing spot with the victim in the first place, and why you were alone with her. Oh, well, no, that's not true. It wasn't like that at all. There were other people present, a detective who was guarding Miss Brett for starters. I was just asked to accompany Miss Brett as a companion, that's all. But let us be clear. At the moment of her death, you were alone together with the victim in the heart. You and no one else. The truth is, there is only one reason why this young woman accompanied Miss Brett on her bathing sojourn. It was the accused's last chance to take the victim's life. No! Because, as we know, the following day would see Miss Brett extradited to the British authorities in Shanghai. And the accused would never have an opportunity to dispatch her again. Kindly refrain from conjecture, counsel. Ha. The prosecution counsel seems to enjoy using provocative tricks like that. But for now at least, we need to assemble more facts. Try not to let him goad you. Oh dear, this is really terrifying, but Father's right. We need more information. The bathing spot. If I may, Prosecutor Aoji. What do you want, you fresh-faced young Yako student? I wonder, could you explain, please? You mentioned a bathing spot. Ha! My apologies. Clearly my modernity has confused a poor country bumpkin's simple mind. Bathing spots are the very latest trend in health practices from the West. We are told that bathing in the water of the ocean is curative, therapeutic, and excellent for the skins. No, that's not what I meant. I was referring to the fact that Miss Brett had, to all intents and purposes, been found guilty of murder. Why would a known criminal have been relaxing by the sea? For old time's sake, I believe. Sorry? Miss Brett was to depart for Shanghai the following day. Her final wish, as it were, was to enjoy a day at our country's wonderful coast. And the British embassy put extreme pressure on our government to comply. But on what grounds would we agree to such requests? Because, as usual, our government is unable to stand up to foreign powers. In matters of diplomacy, it seems we don't even have the courage to decline the whims of a known criminal. Don't look at me, Professor. It was the government who granted permission, not I. In any case, it was decided that with a dedicated detective on duty, nothing could go wrong. But in fact, a murder took place. I said don't look at me. It was a young student girl who did it, not I. No one has proved that yet. I wouldn't provoke the man if you don't need to. I believe we all have a clear picture of the incident now. Despite her guilt being determined 9 months ago, Miss Brett managed to avoid incarceration, instead continuing her research at the university. Obviously, over that period, she and Ray would have encountered each other on a number of occasions. Seeing the murderer of the mentor for whom she has such great respect enjoying such undeserved liberty. Yes, even if it was only temporary until Miss Brett's extradition to Shanghai. You can hardly blame Ray for her feelings of anger and resentment. Poor Ray. So, Your Excellency, if you'd be so kind as to peruse this exhibit, photographic print that shows the scene of the crime immediately following the grim incident. Oh my god, all the decoration! Thank you, Counsel. A tragic image. As you clearly see, there's nowhere within the hut that anyone else could have hidden. The court will accept this photographic print as evidence. The photographs of the crime scene has been entered into the court record. As I understand it then, the victim and the defendant were alone inside the beach hut at the time. Okay, wait. A photographic print of the scene taken by the police just after the incident occurred. The stab wound in the victim's back is clearly visible. Look at all the decoration. Yep, that's a whole goose. This is simply troubling, I must say. The finger of guilt points firmly at the defendant. Well, Your Excellency, naturally the prosecution has much more to its case. We intend to prove the accused's appalling actions beyond all possible contention. To that end, I can confirm that we have multiple witnesses to the crime and damning evidence. Witnesses? But who? One of whom, I might add, is a highly respected police detective. I assure you, the testimony of these witnesses will leave no room for doubt. Very well then, Counsel. Bring forth your witnesses. Taketsu Aoji, have been waiting for this moment. Sorry? Oh yes, I haven't forgotten. That trial 9 months ago, here in this very courthouse. When that irrelevant little student boy utterly humiliated me. Bruno's kid Naruhodo! What? Yes? This insult to the Aoji family name will never be forgotten. You've become conceited with age, Counsel, but the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. It's a way of the world. May you never forget that. That is why his long hair! Strike the head of a samurai whose top knot has been cut at the bell of cultural enlightenment tolls. Yes, on that fateful day, my former self died. The start of your own mini Meiji revolution. Are you modernizing as well, Counsel? Silence! Since I swore revenge back then, there has been a minor miracle atop my head. Observe the RG growth. The hair. You see the seed of hope sprouting forth from the barren expanse of my crown? I think that tiny growth is trying to tell me something. I'm afraid I can't really see there. Where is the hope exactly? I said silence! Today I face another Yonko student of the Naruto clan. Well, I will vanquish you. And my victory will be fertilizer for the seed of hope atop my head. You've been warned. With that, the prosecution calls a witness to the stand. It looks like the stakes are high on both sides in this trial. The prosecution and defense each has much to lose. A haircut is hardly comparable to Ray's life. Oh! Witnesses, please state your names and occupations for the court. Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Imperial Police Bureau. I'm in disguise, obviously, so I can go undetected. And I am, well, the next big thing in books, an author renowned throughout the capital, in fact, yes. Soon to be sold out, the satirical I Am a Cat, a sensational success by Soseki Natsume. Oh my goodness! Struggling student from the provinces, please. You need be in all of me. I need? It's only natural that you feel nervous in my presence, but all of you, please relax. Call me Soseki when... yes. What on earth is Soseki-san doing here? Tread carefully, Susato. That other fellow knows you from your time in London, doesn't he? If he exposes you for who you really are, this will be over before it's begun. Yes, of course, I know. I presume Soseki-san won't have forgotten about me. I could certainly never forget him. Although he does seem to have changed somewhat in the 6 months or so that's been since I last saw him. And as for Inspector Hosonaga, that amazing outfit is hard to believe. Do I have some on my face? Well, your glasses for one, although they don't seem to be helping you see. Thank goodness he hasn't recognized me either. Ah, I suppose it's disguise, is it? I thought that appearing here in clothes I was wearing at the time would make for a more faithful testimony. It is my guiding principle to carry out all the testimonies flawlessly. Well, I can appreciate why an Imperial Police Bureau detective might have been present. But what business did a writer such as yourself have being at the scene, Soseki-san? Well, you see, I'd been asked that day to give a lecture on the morning of the incident in the Imperial Yume University's Grand Lecture Hall, no less. At Yume University? After the lecture, I had a very pleasant conversation with a researcher from the medical science department. The professor over there, in fact. With Professor Mikotoma? Yes, that's right. It was arranged by one of the newspapers. They wanted some story or other about 2 former students who study in Great Britain. Of course, being a renowned author, the press never leave me alone. They secretly spy, snapshots, scribble stories, and scrub on my privacy. As you can see, the conversations was written up in this newspaper here. Read it at your leisure, my provincial struggling student friend. I have plenty of copies. Thank you very much. He practically threw the paper at me. The Soseki Natsume article has been entered into the court record. Okay, a newspaper containing an article about discussion between my father and Soseki-san. The debate became quite spirited. Anyway, following my interview with the professor, the lady in question appeared and made a very unexpected announcement. I should like to go with everyone to see your country's coast. Those were her words. As I explained before, Miss Brett was never taken into custody. She continued to work in my laboratory under strict surveillance, of course. At which utterance, the university immediately contacted the government to seek guidance. And the response was, permit Miss Brett to go as long as a detective accompanies her. That detective, I am at liberty to divulge, was me, Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga. Thereby the entire party departed cordially for the seaside, it seems. It was extremely challenging to clear all the members of the public from the vicinity of the beach. But fortunately, I'm at peak physical fitness at the moment, so I was able to carry out my duty flawlessly. Oh my, Inspector, you... Well, you do have some on your face now. Ah, how unsightly, I do apologize. Does that mean that you went to the beach too, Father? No, fortunately I had work to finish off. But unfortunately, of course, it meant that, as my assistant, Ray was invited to take my place. Of course, being a renowned author, I didn't like to decline the invitation. But if only I had, I'd never have seen that awful sight. Relentlessly racked by remorse and regret. Very well, I must now ask you to present your formal testimony to the court. Okay, before that... Oh! Wakahai's kid. Okay. Why is it cracked? Why is the camera cracked? The lens? I think this has some to do with the trial. Okay. You give an account of all you witness on your impromptu excursion to the coast. Of course, Your Excellency. Relentlessly racked by remorse and regret I am. What a sense. I feel like it's strange, yeah, the witness scene. On the day of the incident, I was ordered on a special surveillance assignment in this guidance. I just managed to catch that crab when I suddenly heard a cato wall from behind me. A cato wall? What's that? I ran to the beach hut at once, where I found the pair in question. Yes, a young girl was astride the English woman, dagger in hand, as she stabbed wildly. I saw blood on the blade. It proved to me that she had stabbed the victim multiple times. Oh. Okay. Indeed, it does appear from this testimony that both witnesses here present saw it. The very moment of this heinous crime. What? Now, if you will recall, I promised evidence as well. What phrase did I use again? Ah, yes, that was it. Damning evidence. What have you there, counsel? A so-called fountain pen, is it? Correct, Your Excellency. I found it at the scene whilst examining the body. It appears that in her dying moments, with her final ounce of strength, the victim clutched a piece of evidence that would positively identify her killer. What? Your Excellency, if you would cast your eyes over the photographic print of the crime scene once more. Ah, goodness me! Yes, the victim is clearly grasping something quite deliberately there in her hand. That's right, the fountain pen. And if you would kindly examine the pen, Your Excellency. Ah! The owner's initials have been engraved into the ebonite barrel. R.M. Ray Membami. The initials of the defendant. No! This fountain pen will be admitted immediately as critical evidence. Okay. So, have I omitted anything? Decisive testimony and damning evidence. There's a bright blue sky outside the courthouse today. Perfect weather to ascribe guilt, I feel. I don't understand. The prosecutor, Aochi, of 9 months ago, had none of this man's poise. Counsel for the defense, you may begin your cross-examination now. Naruhodo-san! Naruhodo. That means... Oh, yes, me! Is there another Naruhodo in my courtroom? Actually, there isn't even a single Naruto in your courtroom. Cousin Rutaro, pull yourself together, please. Alright, I've seen this countless time as a judicial assistant. Find inconsistencies in the witnesses' testimonies to prove that they're lying somehow. That's all there is to it. That's how a real lawyer would handle a cross-examination. So, let's see what I can do. Okay. Okay, I was ordered a special surveillance assignment in this disguise.
Hold it!
In that jaunty disguise? Correct. Wait, no! I mean, was it the first time I've worn this swimsuit for a dip in the ocean? It's tried and tested. Do what must be done to keep the English woman under surveillance. Those were my orders that day. And this tried and tested outfit was the answer. Being able to blend flawlessly into a crowd is an important part of a detective's job. I submerged myself in the salty water, leaving only Mr. Turtle floating inconspicuously on the surface. Mr. Turtle loves the water. Okay. But there was no need for you to blend into the background on this assignment, really, was there? If that made you late arriving on the scene, I think perhaps you had your priorities wrong. Perhaps I shouldn't pursue this line of questioning any further at the moment. I just managed to cap that crap when I suddenly heard a caterwaul from behind me. Caterwaul. You're describing the victim's scream, presumably, Soseki-san. In more literary terms, you might say it was a scream that could have pierced the heavens. Yeah! Or the like. Of course, that's just a metaphor. We renowned authors are wont to describing things so. So Seki-san wasn't at all like this in England. Anyway, I spun around at the noise and the beach hut immediately fell under my gaze. Yes, the beach hut. The area is popular with government ministers. Many have seaside retreats there for rest and recuperation. Recuperation? I kind of want to know what's the meaning of that. Let's see. Recuperation. Oh, okay, so rejuvenation. And what about caterwaul? Caterwaul. Ah, okay. Like, meow. Okay. Caterwaul. Locals are prohibited from entering the area, so it's always very quiet. The beach hut is a simple structure erected as a place for people to change or take refuge from the sun. Although the English woman commandeered the hut for herself. Yeah, which meant that I was forced to change into my swimwear in the sand. I imagine that was rather embarrassing for you. Well, anyway, I tossed the crab aside and headed for the beach hut at the run. Or, in more literary terms, I decrapped and beetled off hut-wise. Okay. I ran to the beach hut at once and where I found the pair that in question. Wait, my pair? You don't mean to say... But how could that be? No, you misunderstand. Obviously, I mean the victim and the defendant, Raymond Bami-san. Oh, it would have been helpful if you could have just said that from the outset. If you jump to conclusions, you have to expect to fall flat on your face sometimes. Dear me, pinning your hopes on such an outside chance. Foolish. Very foolish. If it really was an outside chance, I just wish I'd realized that before I said something silly. So, Inspector, why don't you tell the court how exactly you found the aforementioned pair in the hut? Well, it was a sorry sight. A really grisly scene. I parted the Norran curtain hanging in the doorway and stepped inside only to see the defendant leaning menacingly over the lifeless body of the victim sprawled on the sand. My glasses very nearly cracked at the ominous sight that met my eyes. How thoroughly appalling. He doesn't appear to be lying here. Well, Soseki-san, can you confirm what Inspector Hosonaga is saying, I wonder? You'd like a literary man's opinion? Yes, that young girl was astride the English woman, dagger in hand, and she stabbed wildly.
Hold it!
She stabbed wildly? You actually saw her do it? Oh, indeed. The terrible spectre, the terrapin inspector, the bloody torrent, the other stormont. Every sight and every sound is still carved in my melancholy memory. That was my impression, at least, as a future literary sensation. Literary? Counsel, what on earth would that shrill, effeminate scream? Oh, no, what are you insinuating? I'm as manly a Japanese man as you. I wonder if I might interject here, Soseki-san. Something you said is troubling me. What? That was my impression, were your words just now, I believe. So do you mean to say you're not confident that you really did see what you've described? No, yes! I know what I saw! My ears didn't deceive me when I heard that scream, hence my eyes didn't deceive me either. I could describe everything I saw vividly. I could publish it all in tomorrow's newspaper serial. It sounds as though the next installment of I Am a Cat may take a macabre turn. I think this is a fool's errand. Okay, macabre? What's that? Oh, it's macabre. Macabre. Okay, it's like disgusting, okay? The more we press your other friend on what he saw, the more entrenched he's going to become. Oh dear, how awkward. I saw blood on the blade. It proved to me that she has stabbed the victim multiple times.
Hold it!
She was stabbed multiple times? How can you be sure of that? Very simply, from the blood on the blade. The blood? When I entered the hut, I saw the defendant holding the blade raised up in the air. Yes, that's right! I saw it too! Oh. And I noted that there was blood on the blade already at that point. In other words, the victim has already been stabbed at least once by the time I arrived on the scene. Huh. Okay. Yes, that's right. I saw it too. And the victim was already holding the defendant's fountain pen in her hand too. All of which means I can be sure the victim did not die instantly. Yes, right, I saw it too! Maybe a year in London was too much for him. He sounds like he's forgotten how to speak Japanese. The logic of your argument is sound, at least. Well, as I said, it is my guiding principle to carry out all testimonies flawlessly. Perhaps it should have been your guiding principle to protect the victim flawlessly? It's just my personal opinion, of course. It's not the first time too. It's not the first time either because he failed to protect Kazuma-san. Counsel, you refrain from mocking the witness. Oh no, I just have so many thoughts whirling around in my head. It's all I can do to stand here, wide-eyed and mute. Goodness, my dear, you really must try to calm down. But how am I supposed to find an inconsistency in what these two gentlemen are saying? I don't see why either of them would have any reason to lie. What you must remember, I think, is that witnesses may inadvertently lie at times. For various reasons, a misunderstanding, a mistaken observation, a delusion. A delusion. What's important is that we determine the truth, and there's only one sure way to do that. Yes, with evidence, of course. Spoken like a true judicial assistant. During witness testimony, you can use R1 to pick a piece of evidence to present for consideration. So you need to listen carefully to each statement and compare what's said to the details in the court record. If you find some conflicting information, that may be the inconsistency you're looking for. Yes, it's all about inconsistencies. Once you have identified a witness's statement that appears to conflict with a piece of evidence, present the evidence to the witness with triangle, and the way ahead will present itself to you. Yes! Alright then. I'll consider the details of all the evidence in the court record against each statement to find an inconsistency. I hope I'm up to the task. Don't forget that you can have the witnesses repeat their statements as many times as you like. Everyone has to start at the beginning, remember. So those wide eyes are quite forgivable. And besides, there is no one else to defend the poor girl. You're right. I need to listen to the testimony again from the start. Okay. Multiple times, a single wound was identified.
Objection!
With that accusatory cry that was welled up from deep inside me, I think I finally understand. Every time Kazuma-sama and Naruhodo-san have stood here in this bench, the stakes have been very, very high indeed. What's the meaning of that menacing pose, Counsel? I'd like the witness to clarify something for me. What? Where? When? How? Not you, Soseki-san. The query is directed at Inspector Hosonaga. At me? In your statement just now, you said that the victim was stabbed multiple times. Yes, that's right. As I said when I entered the hut, the defendant was already standing over the victim, bloody knife in hand like a murderous demon. And yet, that cannot be. What? Get to the point, please, Counsel. In the post-mortem report, it clearly states that the victim was stabbed one time only. Ah! In other words, Inspector Hosonaga's testimony is clearly flawed. Ah! And Soseki-san, me? You claim to have seen Membami-san in the throes of stabbing the victim. Yes, I did. Wildly! But both you and Inspector confirmed the same point. That there was already blood on the knife that you saw the defendant holding. Yes, and it's quite simple. We know the murder weapon was used to stab the victim only once. Therefore, there is no way there could have been blood on the knife if that single stabbing wound hadn't already occurred. Ah, true! Then what exactly is your contention, Counsel? Are you ever going to tell us? Yes, Your Excellency. There's only one logical conclusion. What Soseki-san is in fact saw was not the moment that the defendant stabbed the victim at all, but the moment that the defendant in fact withdrew the blade from the victim's body. That can't be it! Excellent work, Susato. You exploded at him without objection and then proceeded to pull them apart systematically.
Objection!
Well, this takes me back. Yes, I seem to remember your cousin staged a scene much like this in a trial 9 months ago. A half-witted child with a half-baked objection, attempting to steal the show. You're right, there were certain similarities. Except the so-called half-witted child managed to outwit the prosecution, who has only half a head of hair. Slender! My head is quite adequately dressed. In any case, all this talk of stabbing and withdrawing and multiple wounds. It makes not a jot of difference. What? Why not? Engage your brain, young man. When the accused first plunged her deadly weapon into the victim, that was a fatal blow. And it was that moment, just as she had withdrawn the blade ready for her next strike, that the witnesses saw. The knife was already tainted with blood because the accused had already stabbed the victim. Ah! All you have successfully shown with your little display is that mustached author is prone to moments of extravagance. Ah! I'm in agreement with the prosecution. If the defendant was seen wielding the blade at all, that is sufficient grounds for her actions to be viewed with suspicion. But if she was withdrawing the blade, then we're back where we started. Sorry? Consider this, young Yoko boy. If the student girl is innocent as you claim, then why would she have pulled the blade from the victim and with a demon's cold-blooded composure too? The prosecution demands an explanation, and it had better be good. Why did Ray pull out the knife? Ah, yes, going for the jugular. What does father mean by that? Jugular. Jugular. What's that? Jugular. Jugular. A lot of words that I don't know in this episode. Oh, it's a vein. Okay. Okay. The truth is, I don't really know. But I have to come up with a plausible reason here, or we don't have a case. The reason why the defendant pulled the knife blade out of the victim's body was surely so she could save her life. According to the post-mortem report, the victim's death was not instant. That's correct. It's thought she would have remained conscious for a short while after sustaining the injury. Indeed, giving her the time to take hold of this piece of evidence that clearly indicates her killer. The point is, being a medical research assistant, Memabi-san was compelled to act when faced a wounded victim. Instinctively, she pulled the blade out in an attempt to save Miss Brett's life. Did you hear that, Your Excellency? It would seem this is the best we can expect of this young Yoko. Okay, I know it was bad, but it was I don't know what to choose. Is it just me, or does it suddenly feel much colder in here? Your Excellency, if I may. Speak, witness. I would like another opportunity to testify in respect to the slipshod assertion just put forward by the Yoko Defense Counsel, I mean. Slipshod? An excellent idea, Inspector. Our young Yoko hopeful has a modicum of knowledge when it comes to the law, it seems. But in matters of medicine, he appears to possess not one iota of common sense. Very well, Inspector. I permit your request. You testify again before the court on the subject of the defense counsel's assertion. Yes, sir. I'll do so flawlessly. Okay. Forensic medicine primer. Pulling a blade from a wound without thinking could cause heavy bleeding. That's basic knowledge that any medical research assistant with an ounce of sense ought to know. In other words, there's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife from the victim. Let's not forget that the young student did have a motive for killing the victim. The man the victim murdered 9 months ago, Dr. Wilson, was the defendant's highly respected mentor. Yeah, I knew that, but still. Is what you just said true, Inspector? Could pulling a knife from a wound really cause the wound to bleed heavily? Yeah, actually yes. Yes, think of the weapon itself as a stopper in the wound that prevents excessive blood loss. Until a doctor is ready to provide proper treatment, that stopper shouldn't be removed. Oh, I see. Ha! This is why yokels should stay on the farm. Even a quack from some obscure mountain village could have such basic knowledge. Anyone who's ever given someone a little poke with a knife and pulled it out again knows it. Oh, well, I've never stabbed anyone, you see, or pulled the blade out of a wound, so... Of course you haven't. I didn't bring you up to behave like a bandit. Father, is it true what they're telling me? Yes, it's basic remedial knowledge for medics. Oh my god, it's hard. Ray would have been well aware of it. If she were to claim ignorance with such fundamentals, that would prove fatal in many ways. But then, why would Ray have done it? Could she have pulled out that knife in full knowledge that it would be fatal for Miss Brett? I don't know. Ray never once mentioned anything about the knife to me. It seems almost impossible to believe, but could my friend actually have... Susato! Yes! Pull yourself together. We mustn't lose sight of why we're here. Counsel, it's time for your cross-examination. Oh, yes, Your Excellency. However, I must warn you that if your cross-examination fails to identify any issue with the established facts, I will be moving to my adjudication immediately afterwards. I understand. Believing your clients and fighting for their cause until the bitter end. I knew it would be hard, but I had no idea it would be this hard. Forensic medicine primer. Pulling a blade from a wound without thinking could cause heavy bleeding. You say doing it without thinking could be a problem. Does that mean that if you use due care and attention, it'll be alright? I would have thought this needed spelling out, really, but... The blade is like a stopper in the wound. Remove it and a serious hemorrhage will occur. In other words, a medic would need to be present before any attempt was made to withdraw the blade. Doing it without thinking would be madness. You just can't do it. Oh, well, thank you for such a thorough explanation. You see, Counsel, when you act without thinking, the result is bloodbath. Ah! Back to the witness testimony, please. That's basic knowledge that any medical research assistant with an ounce of sense ought to know. Okay.
Hold it!
In any case, there's an obvious explanation here. Which is... Clearly, the defendant Raymond Bami-sung does not possess an ounce of sense. What? What do you think about that, Professor Mikotoba? I'm not sure that you should be labeling your best friend as lacking in common sense. Well, I thought it would be better than labeling her as a murderer. I don't know young people today. If that's friendship, I don't understand it. Careful, Counsel. A lack of common sense can be a very dangerous thing. Oh dear. That recoiled on me rather badly. That's life, I'm afraid. Listen, everyone must learn. Hopefully you can see now that this is basic medical knowledge. Being involved in medical research, Minbami-san would certainly have been aware of it. In other words, there's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife from the victim. But the defendant had suddenly encountered somebody she knew, lying on the ground bleeding to death. The sight could have shocked her delicate sensibilities, causing her to remove the blade inadvertently. I really don't think inadvertent actions can explain this. The woman is a medical research assistant. I can't imagine she would behave so irrationally. Oh, but irrational behavior is a woman's prerogative, isn't it? Oh dear, you have a lot to learn about women. Only a small-minded man could have such bigoted views. Oh dear, perhaps I'm letting my male persona take hold a little too much. Well, have I managed to convey the basics now? That should cover the medical side of the argument. Okay. Let's not forget that the young student had the motive for killing the victim.
Hold it!
Whatever the motive, it just isn't in Minbami-san's nature to do something so awful. But she had both motive and opportunity. That's very hard to argue against. But you don't know the defendant.
Attention!
And you, counsel, do not appear to know the law. Yes, evidence is the only way to convince the court of your argument, not feelings. With this, pledging to defend her, I would almost say I pity the accused. So do I. Inspector, you'll reiterate your point about the defendant's motive, please. Ah, yes. Miss Brett was in many ways a sworn enemy of Minbami-san. The man the victim murdered 9 months ago, Dr. Wilson, was a defendant's highly respected mentor. Well, yes, that's true. Dr. Wilson recognized Minbami-san's talent and offered her position of assistant despite her being a woman. She was extremely grateful to him. Yes, the Englishman appears to have been a very broad-minded individual. Dr. Wilson had no time for outdated traditions. He met with opposition, of course, but he believed firmly in Minbami-san's ability. Clearly, the defendant was in the man's debt, which only serves to prove my point. This is hopeless. I can't find a single crack in this testimony anywhere. If Ray knew that withdrawing the knife from the wound would threaten Miss Brett's life further, I just can't think of any way to explain why she did it. Susato, is that times like these when it is especially important to remember the fundamentals. The fundamentals? Evidence is what counts in the courtroom, isn't it? Of course, but I've been through the court record dozens of times already. I think perhaps you are forgetting something though. You needn't take the evidence at face value. You can and must examine in its greater detail too. Ah, I realize this is your first time playing the role of lawyer in the courtroom. So if you need reminding of the rudiments, you need only ask. I'll do my best to help. Examine the evidence in the court record? It's an idea, certainly. What should I do? I know what to do. Come to think of it, Kazuma-sama and Naruhodo-san were always turning evidence over and over in their hands. Yes, I need to examine things in greater detail with X. Ah, by the look in your eyes, I see it's coming back to you. Go through the court record again and have a thorough look at everything. You may just find a clue. Yes, I'll do it straight away! Okay, let's see. I haven't examined this one. If we take out the pen's lid, now let's unscrew the barrel, shall we? Oh my god, the art is so good! Ooh, there's no ink. This must be the little reservoir that holds the ink. Yes, you fill it by drawing ink from a bottle up through the nib. Is something wrong, Father? Just that there doesn't actually appear to be any ink in there, that's all. Oh yes, you're right. It's pretty much empty. Well, it could be on the verge of running out, I suppose. The detail, okay. There is a very small amount of liquid still inside. The REM initials are very clearly engraved here. And the fact that Miss Bread was clinging to this pen in her dying moments is very clearly a message too. To identify the killer, you mean? I don't think there can be any doubt that this is a key piece of evidence in this case. There's some sort of emblem here, look. But it isn't a Yume University one. It must belong to some other organization, I suppose. A business of some kind. But that would seem to imply that the pen doesn't in fact belong to Ray. Which one that he talks about
Hold it!
the pen? Okay, wait. Let me...
Hold it!
Okay.
Hold it!
Which one is it that he talks about?
Hold it! Objection!
He didn't talk about the pen, though. Okay, so the pen doesn't belong to Memba Ray.
Hold it!
Oh no. This one is hard. Okay, let's see. Wait, let me examine everything. I don't think I can do anything with this. Oh, okay, I can do this now. Okay, good. This is a newspaper from Soseki-san. There seems to be an important article on the back page as well. Exclusive deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. From Yume's medical research. Father, isn't that your lab? What the? Let me see that. The poison's been stolen? This is this morning's paper that Soseki-san gave us. Are you saying you didn't know? As embarrassing as that is for the head of the laboratory, I didn't. I've not heard any such thing. Where on earth could the reporter have gleaned this information? Come to think of it, there was no article mentioning the story in our paper this morning, was there? It's a highly toxic poison we've been working on in the strictest confidence. I'd put Ray in charge of the project. Ray? She was managing it? If what's written here is true, it means that she tried to hide the theft from me. And moreover, the details will leak somehow. I don't believe it. I need to read this article very carefully. Article about poison that was stolen. Okay. Roku, England returnees tell all. This is your interview with you and Soseki-san, is it, father? It looks as though it was quite an exchange. Yes, he became a little over-animated when he was talking about his time in England. The photographer managed to capture the moment his hand karate chopped me on the neck. I do hope you weren't hurt. Okay. What else? Exclusive deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. Following a lecture at Yume by Soseki Natsume. What? Following a lecture at Yume by Soseki Natsume on 11th August, it's come to light that a very disturbing incident took place. A deadly poison being secretly developed in the university's forensic science laboratory was stolen. Deadly in tiny quantities. Even the smallest amount entering the body, either via the mouth or via the wound from a poison-laced blade, which proved fatal in minutes. Oh, she died. But she did die instantly. Current methods cannot detect the newly developed chemical. The university would have to be consulted. Why is the poison being developed? Onset of symptoms occurs in minutes, starting with impaired breathing and ending with acute contraction of the pupils prior to death. Such symptoms would be suggestive of this toxin. It's apparently an entirely new synthesis of alkaloids and rumored to have been commissioned by the military. Onset of symptoms occurs in minutes, starting with impaired breathing and ending with acute contraction of the pupils prior to death. Such symptoms would be suggestive of this toxin. It's apparently an entirely new synthesis of alkaloids. Okay, because it is poisoned? That's why she had via the mouth of your wound from a poison-laced blade. Okay. I think it's this one.
Objection!
No, there is one possibility. One very good reason why the defendant might have decided to withdraw the knife from the victim's wound. What? Ha! The Yonko not only has a poor grasp of the law, but also a poor loser. Tell us then, what possibility do you think you have identified? It's here, in this newspaper article. An article about a deadly poison having been stolen from a laboratory at the Imperial Yume University. The victim perished from a stab wound. Poison has no relevance in this case. But, Prosecutor Aoji, you will let the defense speak. But a newspaper article, the court cannot rely on the kind of hearsay those wretched publications carry. Counsel for the defense. I'm going to need some tangible basis for your claim. You indicate the court precisely what part of the newspaper article mentioned affirms your assertion. Your Excellency. Yes, of course. Thank you. Ray would never have done something to further endanger Miss Brett's life without just cause. The reason why the defendant pulled the knife from the victim's body is explained in the article where it says, oh shit. Deadly in tiny quantities. The article reveals the following property about the poison in question. When the toxin enters the body on a knife laced with the poison, it's rapidly absorbed and causes death in minutes. Are you suggesting? If the knife used to attack Miss Brett was laced with this very poison, it would explain why the defendant, Membami-san, would have withdrawn the blade as soon as possible. Yes, the truth is, it was an attempt to stop the poison from entering the victim's body. What?
Objection!
This is complete and utter nonsense. Not at all. The defendant withdrew the knife blade from the victim's body not to accelerate the woman's demise, but to save her life, and the prosecution cannot deny the possibility. Have you not read the postmortem report? The cause of death was hemorrhage. The word poison appears nowhere in the document. Well, that's because by acting quickly to remove the blade, the defendant prevented the poison from having hold.
Objection!
From taking hold. Oh please, this is clearly desperation. The weasel's last breaking of wind. Poison has none whatsoever to do with this case, as I believe the defense is well aware. We have no proof that the information in this wretched newspaper article is at all reliable anyway. In that situation, what the student should have done is wait for the medical assistant to arrive. But instead, you claim she suspected poisoning and took the potentially lethal decision to remove the blade. She must have had a strong reason for her suspicions then, or the argument makes no sense. Exactly. Well put, Inspector. On what grounds did she do it, Yoko? Yoko. Why did Ray suspect the stolen poison was involved? If you want grounds, I'll give you grounds. What? You can't possibly. From your expression, Counsel, it would appear those are not empty words. But naturally, as you stand in the courtroom as a lawyer, you must be aware that words alone, empty or not, are of no value in the modern justice system. The court demands evidence. Yes, Your Excellency. I'm well aware of that. I've seen it many times, from my place at his side in the Old Bailey. In that case, Counsel, you'll present the proof to the court now. What evidence demonstrates a clear link between this case and the poison in the newspaper article?
Take that!
How exactly would you explain this piece of evidence connection to the newspaper article? In truth, I'm not really sure. But my father always taught me to ask my elders before... Am I wrong? I thought the ink was... What? Always taught me to ask my elders whenever I was in trouble. So I thought I should ask your opinion, Your Excellency. If this is advice you seek, Counsel, then I suggest that before indiscriminately thrusting evidence under my nose, why not thrust it under the nose of the professor at your side? I think he means you. Good grief, thrusting that under my nose isn't going to solve anything here. We must use our heads. The article in the paper had details of the toxin. Now, where have we seen similar details? Does nowhere come to mind? You mean I ought to search through all the evidence looking for that? Okay. If I'm not mistaken, it appears The advice of your elders has given you an idea. Yes, I'd like another chance to present evidence if I may, Your Excellency. Okay. Oh, still with blades withdrawing? Yep. Let's see. Victim Giselle Brett, female, British, time of death 11th August around 2 p.m. Ascertained by examination and witness statements. Cause of death: single deep stab wound from behind, piercing a lung and resulting in fatal hemorrhage. Death would have occurred within minutes. Nose extreme meiosis, pupil constriction was observed in the victim. Ah, okay. Oh shit. No. Ending with acute contraction of the pupils. Okay.
Take that!
Okay. I would ask the court to refer to the notes section of the postmortem report, which reads: extreme meiosis, pupil constriction was observed in the victim. Clearly, being a yokel with no knowledge of forensic science, I have no idea, so please do tell me. Presumably, the fact that this condition of the victim was noted in the postmortem report means that it's an unusual symptom of death. Well, under normal circumstances, the pupils dilate when someone dies. If there was extreme constriction instead, that's most certainly unusual, yes. What are you doing, you yokel detective? In the newspaper article, there is the following information about the stolen poison. Onset of symptoms occurs in minutes, ending with acute contraction of the pupils prior to death. What? If the defendant, upon seeing the victim stabbed in the back, happened to notice that the pupils of Miss Brett's eyes had constricted severely. Yes, as a medical research assistant, she would have suspected poison immediately without doubt. Prosecutor RG, I think you agree. This is very compelling evidence. You, Yoko student, Yoko professor! I believe the defense has expertly demonstrated a credible reason for the defendant's actions. No. Eugene Mikotoba. Yes, Your Excellency. I believe you are best placed here to confirm or deny the veracity of the defense counsel's argument. You will tell the court the truth about the details reported in the newspaper, please. It pains me to have admitted, but I'm afraid I don't know. You don't know? The toxin was kept under lock and key in my laboratory, certainly, but I was unaware of any theft. Do you mean to tell the court that the reports of this theft are unfounded? No, Your Excellency. Without returning to a laboratory to investigate myself, I couldn't say. Ha! Listen to the bumbling academic. Unaware of the theft of secret state research from his own workplace until the reads of it in the newspaper. I take full responsibility for the incompetence of my supervision. Father. A pitiful situation for a university professor. You should have more control over your students, rather than allowing them off on killing sprees. That's totally unfounded. None of this is Professor Mikotoba's fault. It's all my fault. Ray? Membami-san, you stand accused here. Outbursts like this will not be tolerated. But it was me. I was the one who noticed that the poison we were developing had been stolen that day. What? So you knew. I've been placed in charge of overseeing the project. It was the day that the professor and Soseki-san were interviewed together for the newspaper. That's when I noticed that some of the poison was missing, just a tiny amount it was. Why didn't you let me know immediately? I was scared. The whole project was supposed to be confidential, but some of the toxin has somehow been taken. So I decided I'd try to get it back before anyone else found out. Because I had a very good idea who the theft was. The theft? You don't mean? Yes, of course. It was that dainty English woman. Miss Giselle Brett? That's why I decided to join the little group of people going to the seaside. Inside the beach hut, I confronted Miss Brett. But she just sat on a stool at the back of the hut, smiling sweetly at me as if she knows she was untouchable. I know it was you who stole the poison. Well now, whatever do you mean? And then, she suddenly got to her feet, before falling to her knees in front of me and then collapsing on the floor. That's when I saw the knife in her back. I couldn't understand what had just happened. And then, a moment later, I was seized with fear. The pupils of her eyes they'd shrunk to tiny pinpoints. I don't believe it. In other words, you realize that the victim was suffering the effects of the stolen poison. My mind started racing. I hadn't seen anything past Miss Brett's lips whilst I've been with her, which left only one possible way for the poison to have entered her body, on the blade of the knife in her back. And that train of thought was what spurred you to withdraw the blade. Yes, if the amount that had entered her bloodstream was small enough, she might still have a chance. That's what I hoped. Really, I'm so sorry for staying silent all this time. Yep. Pupil contraction. Yeah. To the pinpoint. Your attempt to hide the truth of what happened is not something that can be overlooked. However, I have duly noted the courage with which you confess in the end. Thank you, Your Excellency. It's barely perceptible, but I do think. The balance has shifted a little here, in this courtroom now.
Objection!
Your Excellency, do not be deceived. The victim just collapsed before your eyes, you say? Well, Bembami-san, what if that is the case, perhaps you could explain how Miss Brett came to be stabbed? Well, you have no answer because the simple truth is that you stabbed the victim motivated by revenge.
Objection!
But you have no conclusive evidence to prove that assertion, do you? Oh! I have evidence, and it is very much conclusive. What's the prosecution counsel up to? It was brief, but he hesitated for a moment there. I'm almost sure of it. You will produce the aforementioned evidence at once, Professor Aoji. Perhaps some praise is due, young Yoko student. What? I had imagined there would be no need for me to submit this evidence. But you brought this on yourself. What the? Could a more damning shot exist? The cruelty in the air on that beach is almost palpable. What the heck? It has the same crack! It has the same crack! This evidence, more than any other, reveals the true extent of the accused's murderous nature. For it shows the precise moment that Membami-san plunged her dagger into the victim's back. No, that's not true, no! I don't believe it. It has the same crack in the lens. Order, order, order! Counsel for the defense, was it you who was responsible for that shrill scream that just pierced my courtroom? Perhaps his voice has yet to break. These yokos of mine are slow to mature. I'll show you who's slow to mature. Careful now, Susato is starting to show her face here. Is it often said that a picture is worth 1,000 words? And here we have ample proof. The court will accept this extremely cogent photographic print as evidence. Okay, photographic print taken at the moment the victim was attacked. My friend Ray can be seen kneeling over Miss Brett. Okay. I can't believe he's had a photograph like that up his sleeve the entire time. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it's the same crack. And why would he have this camera placed in such a place? It's such a stark image. I'm genuinely lost for words. Wait a minute, I don't understand. How did you... I mean, who took that photograph? Ray.
Objection!
That's of no importance here. Stop trying to divert attention. Oh!
Objection!
That's an absurd thing to say. It's crucially important. Whoever took this photographic print was a witness to Miss Brett's death. The court must be allowed to hear this person's testimony. Ah! That's why he hesitated, I think. I will uphold the defense's demand. The prosecution will reveal the identity of the person responsible for taking this photograph at once. Well, I'm afraid I can't do that. Pardon? You see, this print arrived at the Imperial Police Bureau headquarters by express post yesterday, but there was none to indicate the sender's name or address. The provenance of the print is unknown. Goodness. Are we to understand then, counsel, that in full knowledge of the fact that this photograph has the muskiest of origins, you nevertheless believe it fit for submission as evidence in the Supreme Court? When you first produced that print before, I noticed that you hesitated for a brief moment, because you knew that it wasn't completely reliable evidence, didn't you? Silence, you Yoko student and blabbering professor. What matters is the blatant truth that this print so eloquently expresses. But the defendant has already admitted to pulling the blade from the wound. Clearly this isn't the moment that the knife was plunged into the victim's back, but the moment it was withdrawn? Don't waste this court's time with your ramblings. Indeed, without knowledge of who produced this print, we have no means of verifying the claim. And the scene it captures is, without doubt, the most compelling evidence presented to the court. If the defense is unable to shed any further light on the matter, I believe the conclusion is clear. Oh no! Susato, this is a time for you to fight. If what you have established so far is true, then there can be no doubt. This photograph shows a moment that Ray withdrew the blade from the victim. Yes, we just need to prove that somehow. You have plenty of time to rue your defeat on the slow train back to the provinces. And to rue the day you came up against Taketsuji Aoji in the court of law. If I can't determine who took this photograph, then the trial is going to come to an end. There must be a clue somewhere. There must be some way of working out who took it. Well, counsel. Your Excellency. The burning question is who took the photograph, and the truth is, I have the answer. This isn't about whether I can or can't come up with the answer now. I simply have to. The identity of the person who took this dramatic photographic print is, I assure you, something the defense can and will reveal. What? No, you can't possibly. But As you so boldly claim that you can, please do enlighten us. Unfortunately, I'm unable to present a name. How utterly underwhelming did you really believe you? However, I am able to present evidence. The defense has a piece of evidence that reveals important details about the photographer's identity. What? Very well then, counsel. Present your proof to the court. Which piece of evidence do you claim reveals some other identity of the mystery photographer? Is it here?
Take that!
What is that? The newspaper again? Hoku, England. Oh, how do you pronounce that? Hoku. Ooh, okay. I can only be here for a certain time because I have other appointment to go to at 1. Ruckus. Is that how you? Raucous. Okay. Raucous England returnees tell all. It's not the headline that's relevant here, Your Excellency. It's the photograph. If you look at it closely, you notice that there are some white lines on the right-hand side. Ha ha ha. Ah, yes indeed. That already caught my eye as it happens. Ha! What of it? A shadow of some kind, presumably from the branches of a tree or the like? There are no trees growing in my laboratory at the university, I can assure you. Now, if you look closely at this photograph, good gracious! Yes, exactly the same pattern of lines is present on this photograph too.
Objection!
Well, that tells us nothing. Ha! Yes, it's a shadow of some kind, definitely, from the branches of a tree. There wouldn't be any trees growing inside a hut at the beach, counsel. No. What's quite remarkable about it is that two patterns are absolutely identical. How could such an extraordinary similarity have transpired? The curious matching pattern that appears on both photographic prints is a result of a camera defect. Obviously, it must be due to a problem with the camera used to take the photographs. With the photographic device? Yes, we can confidently say that the camera's lens must be scratched, and that the scratched lens causes unwanted lines to appear on every print taken with the device. In short, the two photographs under consideration here were taken with the same camera. But there must be hundreds of such camera devices here in the capital. It would be utterly impossible to identify the owner of this particular one.
Objection!
I think you're forgetting, Prosecutor Aoji, that one of the photographs featured in a newspaper article. A newspaper? Ah! That's right. The author of that article is the mystery witness to this crime. What? Wah! Memimo! What is that? I see why you were called a raucous England returnee. What are you yelling about? You have already testified. It's many memo. I tell you, many memo. Mo. Soseki-san, what was that? Did you say many memo? Ever since I returned to Japan, a reporter from the Shoyu News has been hounding me, following my every move. A reporter by the name of Raiten Many Memo. Yes, hounding me from dawn till dusk. Ah, now that he mentions it. They secretly spy, snapshots, scribble stories, and scrub on my privacy. Could that said reporter be a camera to the left of him, a notebook to the right. There I am stuck in the middle with written many memo. So you're saying that this picture was taken by many memo? Yes, my lord, your excellency is acquired. Officer, find the newspaper's reporter at once and bring him to my courtroom. We will adjourn for a short recess in the meantime. Oh, yes, your excellency. As you say, your excellency. And one more thing. I want this knife, the murder weapon, examined for traces of poison. You solicit the assistance of the Imperial University's medical department for the task. Understood? Meh. Many memo! What the heck? Okay, we're done for today because I have somewhere to go next. Okay, I'll save the progress. Manny Memo! I will remember that name for the rest of my life. Okay. Thank you so much everyone for coming. Thank you. I'm sorry. It's been a short well, it's not very short. It's like 2 hours plus, but still. It's short considering what I usually do for a stream in the morning. So yeah. But thank you. Nice play as always. Thank you so much. Here with us from the beginning of the trial. Yes. Yes. He has been with us many memo. Right and many memo. We'll come back for him next time. And please wait for that time. So, I have another stream at 4 in the evening on my YouTube channel. So please, if you be so kind to show yourself on my stream, show yourself on my live chat, that would be very, very appreciated. Thank you so much everyone for coming. I'll see who I can raid, which I just know who I can raid because I see Aqua totally streaming. Yes, he is still streaming. Okay. Thank you so much everyone and I love you. Oh my god. I can't raid? Why? Why can't I raid Aqua? Why can't I raid? I mean, what? I can't raid. Okay. Fine, I'll raid somebody else then. Okay, thank you so much everyone. I'll lay Slushy. Thank you. I love you so much. And I'll be back for you on YouTube at 4 in the evening. GMT plus 7. Bye-bye. Get out of here, go. Over and out. Mwah.